They started with 6 in a COVID-affected competition, renamed the South Central Series, and just 2 remain. Yes, welcome in everyone to the grand final of the National League South Central Series. It is a local derby here in Wellington. Miramar Rangers up against Wellington Olympic, coming to you from Jerry Collins Stadium in the capital city. Just up the road from Wellington Central here in Porirua. Andrew Dewhurst with you alongside former international Hedamaya Nata. We'll hear from Harry in just a moment or two, but also standing by pitch side is former international with a word on the conditions. It's Fred de Jong.
Well, thank you, Andrew. As you can see, it's pretty wet down here in Wellington. It's been raining all day, and conditions will be nice for the players because it's pretty warm, and the pitch is going to be nice and slick. Pitch has held up well. Glenn Jacobson and his crew were here really early today, preparing the surface and getting everything ready, and done a really good job. And we're looking forward to what should be a really interesting game as well, because the last time obviously we know these two teams met, a cracking 4-4 draw. If we can get anything like that sort of game, then we're in for a real treat.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Fred. So it is a little damp in the capital city, but should still be pretty good for playing conditions. Let's have a look at how these two teams made it through to the final. First up, Wellington Olympic and their form coming into the final.
Halen Gould back with it, threads it through to Bazookas. Bazookas one-on-one, but forced wide, but wonderfully finished by Gianni Bazookas. Scored 1 goal, set up another. What could be the match winner here? Oh, they got another one. Block-busting effort at that back post.
Paul Peterson advancing. Can he pick his spot? He did, but the keeper was there, and on the follow-up, it's Gould with his second. So many players. Handy cross as well, just over the top of Gunner, but into the back of the net. That is stunning. It's not all done yet. Jones keeping them in it. Now a chance, and they've equalised. Oh my goodness me, Haile Mariam with the Hail Mary. Sinclair into the area, taken down, penalty. Marta goes the same way, same results.
Clayton gets it back there from Delaney, and he's around a player. Here's Clayton, and there's a goal, and it's Western Suburbs who scored. No doubt Choate and Marta are the targets. Right in the middle again, and it's Sims and Marta, and it's McKeown who scores.
Capitalise here, get the shot on goal, and this time it's a goal. Look at that, indecision in deep defence. Here he is, can he get onto it, the young legs, across the face, good save, and a good... Oh, Gale Gold, 5 yards, Gucci, set up by the youngster who just come on.
Yeah, so just the one defeat for Wellington Olympic, and that was their dress rehearsal coming into this grand final, but otherwise they have been an impressive side as we have a look at results so far for Miramar Rangers, and their arguably worst performance was also their dress rehearsal, the 2-2 draw against Selwyn last weekend, of course, a match that also saw them lose their skipper Sam Dewar, sent off late in that match. So Miramar Rangers and Olympic, a local derby. It's a local derby that's already thrown plenty our way this season. Let's recap and have a look back at that 4-4 draw.
White. Good turn, good change of direction. White, he's there. And Ollie White has equalised for Miramar. Sims is partially blocked there. It's still there. It's clipped, and yes, there is the goal for Miramar.
And the games I've seen so far have been great, really competitive.
Well, there's a goal there, and it's João Morieta. Yet a good ball in, and there's a goal. It has been scored, and Miramar go in front.
Delholm, White, Ollie White with the hat-trick. Ollie White, that's all he needed.
Absolutely, just let their guard down ever so slightly.
Oh, it's not all over yet, another goal! Oh my goodness me!
Not a bad position for Matheson to boot across, and a big shot at goal. Kashmir Tank have opened the scoring in the 55th minute. Looking to find Mason Smith. Chance at goal. Oh, it's in! What a goal from a cute angle.
Barnett. Little slide pass here for Ollie White. Ollie White, what a finish. No chance for Miramar. Plays that direct into the area, and the whistle has gone. A push in the back from Taylor Shrivers. Carradus against Jones. Carradus, and he scores calmly. And they are on level terms. So that, in fact, a recap of Miramar Rangers' form through the season as we look at Olympic and confirm their results of this campaign. And they've been slow starters on occasion. They have plenty of goals, though. 2-4, that result first up against the Phoenix after they went behind early. But the 5-1 defeat at Kashmir last weekend is not the dress rehearsal that they wanted coming into this grand final. Well, as mentioned, we've already had one spectacular match between these two sides, and there was plenty of feeling. It had everything. It had drama, it had a serious injury, it had penalties, it had late action. Let's look back at that 4-4 draw. Space on the left now for McKeown, has support from Sinclair, ignores him, goes into the penalty area, and penalty given. Marta to give Olympic the best possible start, and that's why he took the responsibility. That was a wonderful penalty. Let's have a look here. On the throw, it's high. It's high and reckless. Oh, it's been elevated to red. Round behind them now, real opportunity now. Zeb across the area. It goes White, slams it home and says, let's get back and get on with it quickly. Aaron Spain and Harris Zeb have been given license. That one through the middle, great opportunity here for Olympic. Have they taken the lead? They have. Down to 10, and he is pumped.
I might try to draw a foul there.
Chance now for Whites, and they've equalised. The flag stays down, or has it gone up? Delholm, White, Ollie White with the hat-trick. Ollie White, that's all he needed. It's not all done yet. Jones keeping them in it. Now a chance, and they've equalised. Oh my goodness me, Haile Mariam with the Hail Mary.
I think so, Andrew, absolutely. Just let their guard down ever so slightly.
Oh, it's not all over yet, another goal. Oh my goodness me, 3 goals in 90 seconds. Sinclair into the area, taken down, penalty. They've been down to 10 for over an hour. Marta goes the same way, same results. Oh, that was a remarkable game. Felt like there was 100 goals in the last 2 minutes. It was spectacular stuff. Let's have a look at the two teams, the way they line up here this afternoon for the grand final. And we start with Wellington Olympic. Harry Nata, so many attacking options for Wellington Olympic in this lineup.
Yeah, look, you can't go past it. Or Caelan Gould, for me, has probably been the standout player for Wellington Olympic. But your support play from Jack Henry Sinclair and Gianni Bazoukas as well. We saw what he could do with that nice goal he took against the Wellington Phoenix in one of the first rounds there. Really solid at the back with obviously the experience there with Justin Gully, Mata and Harry Choate as well. So expect a lot of action here at Jerry Collins Stadium. Yeah, and they can shift to a 4-4-2 if they want to, with the likes of Pelezovic, perhaps Scott Greenfield on the bench. Let's have a listen in as we catch up with their head coach going into this one, Martin Pereira Garcia.
Last time these sides met, 4-4 draw. Your side came back 3 or 4 times in that game. How much confidence does that give you leading into this one?
It's just difficult to say because every game is different. You know, we might face the same team again. This is the fourth time that we're going to be playing Miramar this year. We had the luck to beat them once and drew twice with 10 men. You know, obviously the last game we scored 3 goals with 10 men, which is boosts your confidence. But at the same time, we know that, you know, we cannot think that way. We need to just prepare to play from the get-go and make sure that we put them under pressure so we are able to succeed today.
Your side's been very good on the counter in this series. Is that something where you think you're going to get some mileage today?
It's not that we look to do that. It's not that we practice that. It's just the way that things have been going in this series. You know, we do know that we haven't been playing well. You know, we haven't played as well as we did over the winter, and obviously some teams like Western Suburbs and the Phoenix have got a lot better. since the winter season, so made things a bit more difficult for everyone. But yeah, no, the boys understand that our game is not countering. We know that we have some really fast players who can hurt teams in the counter, but for us it's more about making sure that we are able to play not a possession but a more a positional style of football.
Excellent. Have a good game today.
Thank you very much.
Yes, he's very much a scholar of the game, as Martin Pereira Garcia. Those words with Fred de Jong. Let's have a look at their opponents, Miramar Rangers and Harry Nata. If Olympic are attacking, look at this as well from Miramar. They've got so much ability to hurt you, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely, Andrew. Look, it's going to be an open game. I hope it's going to be an open game because you've got players on both sides. Sam Mason-Smith, Andy Bevan came off the bench last week. He starts in the absence of their captain. Sam Dewar, who was sent off in that game last week, unfortunately. No Zeb Harris and no George Akers as well. So some reshuffling to do for Scott Hales' side this afternoon. But again, a really test of depth and good stability at the back with Wood, Shrivers and O'Brien as well.
Yeah, and again, looking at 3 at the back, but they very quickly can adjust and go to 4 if needs be. But to look for White and Barnett especially to be playing as extra attackers in that front third for Miramar Rangers. Let's hear from their head coach. Fred caught up with Scott Hales.
Well, Scott, 2 best teams in the competition. What are your expectations for the match?
Hopefully not the same as the last time we played. My heart can't take that one again. Look, it's going to be a high-octane game. Both clubs have got pride to play for. Being the series winners is really important to both clubs. And obviously, with the new format, both clubs are looking to put their names out there for people in the country to recognise and hopefully fear next season.
As a coach, how do you prepare the team for a game like this? Nullify the opposition or just simply focus on yourself?
We're in a bit of a spot with injuries and suspension and whatnot, so we've done everything about us this week. Purely us, nothing about Olympic. We've played them 3-4 times. There's no point in going over exactly what they're going to do again. It's a final. It's just an exciting game and it's an exciting day for the club, so all about us.
And any changes to your team?
No changes. No. Andy Bevan does come in, but regarding shape and things like that, we're about us.
Well, all the best. Hope it's a cracking game.
Thanks very much.
Scott Hales with those thoughts as the teams make their way out here to Jerry Collins Stadium, and it is a facility, Harry, very close to where you might have grown up and played a little bit of football. As we see the officials leading the teams out. Referee for this one is Campbell Kirk Kawana War, but this one close to home for you.
Yeah, grew up just around the corner from this, or used to be called Porirua Park actually, but grew up in Porirua, went to school about sort of a couple of k's from where this game is played at Aotea College, so you know the area very well, and looking forward to a game, a really open game, Andrew. I mean, both coaches have quality players they can call upon, particularly in that attacking third. So it's going to be a game of who's going to be, dominate the middle of the park and control the tempo. We know there's quality on both sides for both teams to be able to do that. So interesting who's going to get the upper hand in the first few minutes.
Is it also the team or the individual players that respond well and make the right decisions under the most pressure? And we've seen already penalties, we've seen sendings off, we've seen big moments, haven't we? And players have got to make the right calls at the right moment.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, 8 goals when these two teams played last time. It was for the neutral, it was a fantastic game, as Scott Hales we saw before. For him, he doesn't want to encounter that type of that pressure or that type of game again today. But yeah, both teams looking to control the middle of the park, as I said. Both teams as well, really suited to playing attacking football. We know they've both got stability at the back. Shrivers there and Ben Mata, obviously for Wellington Olympic. There's going to be, I think, that those 2 key players for me, Caelan Gould and Ollie White on the Miramar side. Who's going to be who's going to play that's going to make things happen for their side?
Yeah, and of course those 2 players also are chasing the golden boot. So they have 5 goals so does Lewis Toomey from the Wellington Phoenix. He can't add to his total. But of course these 2 teams have a grand final, an extra game in which to perhaps add to the goal scoring total. So look for that personal battle within the battle as well between White and Gould, the Englishman. So it's a decent soul of grass on this pitch. The rain, I don't think, will have hurt conditions as far as the opportunity to play some quality football, Harry. We heard from Fred, and often just a smattering of rain, so long as it's not a deluge, can just see that the passes skip a little quicker, can't they?
Yeah, particularly players are going to have to be aware, particularly at the back for those balls, as you said, Andrew, that's going to sort of, skip along the surface. It's going to be greasy. It's going to be wet. First touch is going to be imperative today for both sets of players. Been interesting, the opening 10 or 15 minutes, we know both sides like to press high. So, look, it's going to be who's going to be bold enough to take advantage and when chances present themselves. I'm sure there's going to be some chances in these opening few minutes as well.
So the pre-match formalities conclude and we are about to get underway. The grand final, and as mentioned, it has been COVID affected as so much sport has been through this year, was meant to be the introduction of a new club-based national league. Of course, the Northern Region teams couldn't compete because of border restrictions, and so it comes down to two Wellington sides, two Central League sides battling for top honours in New Zealand in 2021. Olympic in the whites and Miramar Rangers in their traditional blue and black. Bazookas gets us underway, and Wellington Olympic with the first opportunity to get a feel for playing conditions. Andrew Dewhurst with you alongside Harry Nata. And what wind there is behind the backs of the Miramar side in the first half. McKeown, he'll be crucial as well, has the ability to step up in the big matches. Wood with the interception. Wellington Olympic just controlling the opening exchanges here. And really is going to be fascinating to see which side makes the most of opportunities that come their way. Mason Smith well cut out though by Davenport Peterson. Always the potential, Harry, for two lineups essentially the same shape. Both have very similar attacking ability through their lineup. They can cancel each other out, can't they, from time to time?
You're right. Similar philosophies for both sides, isn't it? Strong midfield, good ball players, a couple of players that make things happen in the attacking third. Very solid at the back. Ben Mata, we see 4 penalties already for him, the Olympic captain so far this season. There's already some nice touches from Olympic. Everyone's sort of trying to get on the ball. First touch is always super important in a final to get your confidence, although these two know each other extremely well.
Miramar's turn, and Bevan has a little space to exploit down this right wing side, and he just looked up and saw that he had one player in Nathan Symes to aim at, but decided on the more difficult shot on goal. More than capable though, isn't he, Bevan, of a better end result than that. Here is Gould, nuggety Englishman. Turned over cheaply here though by Olympic. Symes. Bevan. That's a great challenge from Davenport Peterson. Really, that was building quite dangerously for Miramar if they'd been able to make that one more pass down the right wing side. Barnett, the 19-year-old.
He reads the game. Sorry, Andrew. He reads the game so well. Saw Davenport Peterson in the middle of the park step well there. There he is again, putting pressure on Ollie White. Sorry, it wasn't Ollie White.
That's White there for Barnett, but across is Gully using that renowned pace, but the vision wasn't so flash. Symes thought about pulling the trigger, does the good save. And Miramar not there on the follow-up, not at least at the first time of asking, and that one then over the bar. So already we're seeing action in the penalty area. And it's a pretty good save by Toby Hunt. Regulation stuff, but Symes hitting the target.
Yeah, Toby Hunt did so well there to push that, because Scott Midgley, I think it was, the number 2, running in on the far post.
Mason Smith right in front of Hunt in the corner. Doesn't come to any Real effect though, and now Bazookas allowed to run and goes past Wood into the area. No support. They'd really outrun them all and he had to shoot. Well, that is brilliant from Gianni Bazookas. Great pace. And Harry Nata, he outstripped his teammates. He didn't have anyone with him.
I'll just give him the board. Gianni Bazookas, what a run there from Olympic striker. And Zach Jones did so well. 2 good saves already in the opening 5 minutes for both sets of keepers here. But just turned on the afterburners, didn't he? Gianni Bazookas ran past Taylor Shrivers. I think he wasn't there.
Corner for Olympic. Let's see if they can be a little more effective than Miramar were from theirs. Not initially. Gould tries one cross that was awkward in the end, and it's another corner. He was shaping as though to shoot there, was Caelan Gould, but just put that into that awkward space between defenders and keeper.
On his unfavoured right foot, just knocking this one in between. It's a great ball as well because it does create some confusion there between the 2 lines there of the keeper and his defence.
Gould, he'll ping one from here if he's given the chance. Gould, oh dear, that's not his best work. Surely, Harry, the idea there was to put the laces through the ball.
Yeah, that one, not one of his better shots, Caelan Gould, from this season. 5 goals. The Olympic striker.
Wood, who was one of a number of players left in the wake of Gianni Bazookas with that great show of pace from the Olympic striker. Just the 1 goal this season for Bazookas. Both teams, their goal scoring's been dominated by the one player, with White and Gould 5 each for Miramar and Olympic respectively. The others have largely just been very much in the supporting cast, in the ensemble, if you like. Sinclair now. Bazookas looming in support. Sinclair chooses McKeown, and McKeown, it's taken a touch off Bazookas, and they've opened the scoring. Flag is up. Flag is up. Oh, just for a moment, Gianni Bazookas thought he'd opened the scoring. He was off on a victory lap. It was a wonderful ball played in by McKeown. Certainly needed the touch. It would otherwise have been saved, I'm sure, by Zach Jones, but Bazookas ruled offside. Barnett with a lovely, just little shimmy, a drop of the hips, and away goes the 19-year-old. And down towards the byline, looking to make space around Halakias, and comfortable in the end. But both penalty areas, Harry, going to be prime real estate in this match.
Absolutely. Both keepers having to make saves early on, as we saw, and then a lovely ball from Caelan Gould, who released Roy McKeown.
Mason Smith now looking to set up Symes. Olympic get players back. Ollie White, Symes. Marta couldn't get a foot in. Bevan tries one, and it's a great save onto the post, and it's in the back of the net on the rebound. Symes gets his first of the season. Oh my goodness me, 4-4 the last time they met in the regular season, and in the opening 8 minutes it could be 2-2. Miramar lead at 1-0.
We talked earlier, didn't we, Andrew, about who's going to take their chances in the opening stages here. This Andy Bevan shot, great save off the post, and then it was a ricochet off Hunt from Nathan Symes to score his first goal of the season. And a fantastic start for Miramar. What a lot of action here at Jerry Collins Stadium. Great start from both sides, and Miramar have got their noses in front in the opening 8 minutes.
Well, this really does have classic cup final feelings about it. And credit coaches, and perhaps they haven't necessarily had too much of a choice. Scott Hale's talking about They just don't have too many players left to call on, but both coaches going with very attacking lineups. As now Gould is sent clear. Gould into the area. Gould on the right foot. Good save. Oh, my goodness me. From conceding to creating, Wellington Olympic show that they are very much in the contest.
Well, it looks like we're going to be in for another cracking afternoon of football. The way these two teams have gone each other in the first 10 minutes. Mouth action on both sides. Already a goal for Nathan Symes as well. A disallowed goal for Bazookas.
Great header, couldn't get the angle. McKeown may well have kept that in play. No, it's just gone over the byline there. So the second tight decision from that referee's assistant goes against Olympic, with the earlier offside call against Bazookas wiping out what they thought was the opening goal. Zach Jones, the 20-year-old. Interesting, Keegan Smith's on the bench, Harry, but so too is Jacob Daly. So the question is Keegan Smith available for Scott Hales as an outfielder?
Quite possibly, because Scott Hales touched on the top of the game there about number of injuries and suspensions. Obviously, captain Sam Dewar was sent off last week against Selwyn. No, Seb Harris and George Akers have got long-term injuries. So there are three key players already that are not available for Scott Hales this afternoon. João Moriera, the other one on the bench, who's scored 3 goals this season. I think he might have been a bit unhappy not to be starting this game as well. But you know, Nathan Symes already his name on the score sheet.
Yeah, well, Moriera's not bad to have as an impact player, the 35-year-old, now veteran of the New Zealand scene. He's played with a number of clubs. Came off the bench to score against Selwyn last week. Gould, the Englishman, just turning the Frenchman, Delormel. And just getting a foot in there in time was Delormel. And the referee not seeing an advantage for the earlier challenge on Midgley. And quite rightly goes back and awards the free kick. Just as well, he's not having to put his own name in the notebook, Harry. He's got to have one of the longest names in refereeing. Campbell Kirk, Kawana War. Hyphens all over the place.
We'll just refer to him as the referee.
The referee. Let's do that. That one is seen out over the sideline. Liam Wood, who we mentioned last week, spent quite some time with the Phoenix in their reserve side until a serious injury just derailed him for a couple of years, but good to see him back out there with Miramar. Gould, that's nice for Bazookas, who was allowed time to turn. Sinclair for McKeown. Back to Sinclair. Cultured left foot of the Irishman. And is there a foot in there from Bevan? The referee says yes, so the corner is given. Had he not got a piece of the ball, I'm sure that would have been ruled a foul on Davenport. Wellington Olympic with another corner, this time for Jack Henry Sinclair to swing it in. Another one of those players with just the one goal to his name this season, Sinclair. Marta was waiting, it's blocked by Bevan. Well, that looked to be goal bound, but desperation from Andy Bevan keeps it out.
It's a lofted corner here from Jack Henry Sinclair. Back across and just scramble that one away.
Matrakis very close. Almost too many Miramar players there getting in each other's way. Plenty of players to make the clearance, but in the end, they gifted Matrakis a pretty good opening. Wood for Bevan. Patience here until goes the more direct route. It's a handy ball too for Ollie White. Not too many touches yet for the 5-goal man for Miramar. And couldn't thread the pass through what was a pretty tight opening. Davenport Peterson. And really forcing the referee to make the decision there. Bevan just a little too keen to make the challenge. They will, of course, miss Sam Dewar, their skipper. He's one of the very few, it seems, holding midfielders in either of these two squads. But in Andy Bevan, Harry, they've got an experienced campaigner to step in.
Yeah, I think he's more accustomed to more of an attacking midfield role or a wide role, Andy Bevan, but Ken obviously got the experience and the guile to play in that number 6 position, or number 8 if required. Del Hamel has naturally filled that position in the absence of Dewar.
Olympic building nicely. Sinclair, Midgley, and right on the edge of the penalty area. And what's the ruling here? Well, it looked to me like Sam Mason-Smith had clattered into the Olympic player, but the decision's gone the way of Miramar.
Is he penalising for a dive, is he? Can't see that one. Andrew.
Well,
it was a mystery, I think.
I'm a little lost for words, which is never a good idea for a commentator, but that looked to me to be a fairly obvious decision that should go Olympics' way. It's no surprise that the Olympic bench and coaching staff were not overly thrilled. Bevan has the cheek to ask for the throw to go his way. Perhaps they feel like they're all going to go Miramar's way, the decisions. Gee, I'm still a little shocked, Harry, because whilst the players, everyone's had to get on with the job, that would have been a dangerous situation for a set piece for Olympic, but not to be. Bevan for White. White with a pass for Barnett to chase, but off his line and saving well. Toby Hunt. McKeown into a crowded midfield area. Sinclair, but somehow rides the challenge of Del Homel, and Sinclair advances, has an option on the left. It's Gould. Look for him to get onto that left foot of his, the favoured left foot, forces another corner. And if anything, since the concession of the goal, Wellington Olympic are looking the more likely.
Yeah, they've sort of taken control of the middle of the park, haven't they? They've passed through Miramar on a couple of occasions now. It's interesting, Caelan Gould getting the ball on that left-hand side, but he has been receiving the ball quite deep at times as well. So definitely looking to get him on the ball to make things happen as much as they can. But you know, this man Jack Henry Sinclair and Bazookas up front looking very threatening.
It's another one for Marta to try and get on the end of. Sinclair will have another go towards the post. Dangerous again, just headed away by Taylor Shrivers. Miramar under pressure.
Again, it's good pressure from Olympic, good, you know, momentum and that building of pressure and putting, in that case, Shrivers under having to make a desperate clearance there and concede another corner.
And a great goal, and this time it will count, and this time Bazookas can continue the celebration. Well, you can't say it hasn't been coming. The equaliser, the flick at the near post, and Gianni Bazookas has his second of the South Central National League. And they deserve it, Olympic.
Yeah, well deserved. And they've looked threatening on set pieces. Scott Hales will be, he won't be happy. I mean, Olympic on a couple of occasions, we saw it just earlier with Jack Henry Sinclair whipping in across from a corner as well. He won't be happy with the way they've defended Miramar Rangers. Bazookas deservedly, after that one was disallowed in the opening sort of 5 or 6 minutes, scores his second goal of the campaign.
And the man who made the vital header at the near post, Davenport Peterson, involved there on the halfway line. It was a lovely flick, so hard to defend. I think it's almost the first set piece or corner in every coach's playbook is near post, flick on, and have the runners at the far post. It's just almost impossible. Shrivers, Midgley, back to Zach Jones. Bevan just has his heels clipped there by Davenport Peterson. And it was Davenport Peterson, of course, who was sent off in this regular season encounter. Delamel. Nice interchange through midfield until that man again. White goes past Gully. Another. Into the area goes Ollie White, and has wonderful ability to beat players, Ollie White. Sometimes, Harry, does he try and beat one
Just
too
one
many?
too many. I think at times, in certain areas, he does have the look. He has definitely got the ability to run past players.
Wonderful
but
talent.
It's just do try to go past one too many at times.
Del Hamel, the challenges are coming thick and fast, and that touch from the Frenchman is too heavy. The balance here is a challenge for both coaches, because when you've got, in Miramar's case, a midfield that has Bevan, Barnett and White, someone has to track, someone has to defend. It can't all be left to the Frenchman. So they've just got to get that balance right, don't they?
Yeah, and I think someone like Caelan Gould has sussed that out. You already see him picking the ball up just on the halfway line and getting the ball and turning and running at players or playing in McKeown. It'll be interesting. You talked about particularly Barnett and White, who are so used to more attacking games, whether they are going to be, confident and disciplined enough to work back and try with Barnett just getting back there in that position. So they have the license to go forward, but obviously you have to work hard for your team at the back as well.
Gould couldn't go beyond Liam Wood. Lucas Halakias, cousin of Mikey Halakias, who used to score goals for fun. And Shrivers there suggesting that there might have been a little too much effort in trying to win a penalty there. There's a great ball for Midgley to chase. Symes in the area. Midgley down to the byline. Who's there in support towards the far post? And Mason Smith, it's taken a touch, but Miramar have taken the lead back again. Well, the goals just keep flowing between these two teams, and Sam Mason Smith, the 30-year-old. It's a slightly fortunate finish. It does in the back of the net. Fourth goal of the season. Miramar lead it.
Well, I think you got to credit Scott Midgley there on the right-hand side. Had the patience and the composure just to take an extra touch. Allow Sam Mason Smith to make that box. He only had Nathan Symes and he drifted to the far post. So there were 3 defenders in front of him there. So great work from Midgley to pull that one back, and just this hesitated composure for a split second to pull that one back for Sam Mason-Smith with a nice finish, although being a deflection as well.
He really did. We talked just prior to that about Ollie White perhaps running himself into too many defenders. Midgley, that was a perfect example, slightly different, had much more space to work with, but he certainly showed great composure to wait, look up, and then find a supporting runner.
He's got a good tempo to the game as well, hasn't it, Andrew? I mean, 3 goals in the opening 24 minutes. It's been a disallowed goal early on for Bazookas. You know, both teams have exchanged, or keepers have had to make decent saves as well.
Well, Scott Hales in the pre-match said to Fred de Jong, I don't want another one of those 4-all draws.
It's looking that way, doesn't
I don't know that the ticker can handle it. Well, Fred, just keep an eye on Scott for us, would you, down in that Miramar dugout, because we're headed in the same direction. Here's McKeown. He too has the ability to pick a teammate with a cross like that. What a save. Is the flag up? Caelan Gould was ruled offside, but that does not take away from the quality. Just saying, McKeown, if you give him that time to get his head up and pick a spot, he will do it 9 times out of 10.
He's got a sweet left foot, hasn't he? Rory McKeown picks out a run from Nathan Gould here, just inside the 2 defenders. Unfortunately for Gould, just straight in an offside position as he made that run across the near post of Zach Jones.
Well, Olympic have scored 3. Well, sorry, no, that was saved. That was saved. I was about to say it's another one ruled out for offside. Very nearly it was, but we've already had the Bazookas effort ruled out by the offside flag. Davenport Peterson flying in through Bevan. Symes overlapping as Mason-Smith. Midgley ignores him, uses him as something of a decoy, a deflection, and it's a 3rd for Miramar. Well, Ollie White might claim this, but we might have to defer this one based on the replay, because is this goal bound? White, the deflection off Mata, that's going to count for White, you would think, Harry Nata?
I think so. I think so, Andrew. And interesting, you see a lot of, there's about 4 or 5 white shirts just standing off. Ollie White there, as we saw that that goal hit the back of the net, but 6th goal of the season for Ollie White. We called him out. Caelan Gould as well has been influential for Olympic, but it's Ollie White's goal here that's sending Miramar 3-1 up inside 27 minutes. What a fantastic start to this game.
Well, Wellington Olympic, they might look at that scoreboard, and on the one hand they'll feel they've been harshly dealt to, but as we see a wonderful ball here threaded through now for Olympic to force another corner, and it makes my point that they should also take some real heart that, yeah, they might be 3-1 down, but they've played well. They've contributed so much to the opening 27 minutes.
Absolutely. Miramar have had chances, they've taken them. I mean, we've seen a couple of goals, but 1 goal disallowed by Bazookas earlier on. And this is an area for Miramar that Scott Hales will want to tighten up. Set pieces.
Well, they almost went for a repeat dose, didn't they? Davenport Peterson got the flick on, but not into the path on this occasion of a teammate at the far post. Choate. Halakias. Olympics still just readjusting after the corner. McKeown consequently still out here on this right wing side, and Ollie White clipping Lucas Halakias. And another opportunity now for Olympic to send their tall timber forward. McKeown lines this one up. Look at Zach Jones in the starters blocks on the goal line. Great ball from McKeown, just not enough to get it beyond those Miramar defenders, but it was right into that dangerous area. He'll send another one in, this time to the far post. He overcompensated perhaps, and Jones was able to punch clear. Now Midgley, what have they got on the counter-attack? Miramar. Bazookas with a great run there from the striker, just took the momentum out of that Miramar attack. Fortunate for White. Tries to go past Mata, and Mata makes it fairly clear what he thought of that, telling Ollie White to get up off the deck. I wonder if his heart might not have been in his mouth for just a second or two. He's a decent unit to run into, isn't he, Harry? He's good old-fashioned centre-back material. He's Ben Mata.
Yeah, one that scores goals as well, albeit from the penalty spot, but...
Oh, lovely footwork against Wood now. Gould, has he got the pace to go around Liam Wood? He has. Down to the byline. Gould cut out by Shrivers. Caelan Gould, though, starting to warm to the task.
He's a powerful runner, isn't he, with the ball? Uses his body so well. Well balanced as well, you know. He passed.
Gee, Wood was lucky he didn't bring him down there in the penalty area. McKeown with the signal. McKeown with the delivery. This time more direct to the far post. Punched away, but not totally clear just yet. Matrakis. Gully. Space here now. Sinclair drives it across, and they've scored, and it's Harry Choate, second of the season. Well, it's kind of a goal every 6 or 7 minutes. That's the way it feels. Now, these two teams drives it across, and they've scored, and it's Harry Choate, second of the season.
Yeah, great ball from Jack Henry Sinclair. Harry Choate, the man at the far post for his second goal of the season. What a game this one's turning out to be. 5 goals inside the first half, still with some to play.
Harry, I get the feeling 4-all's going to have nothing on this. This is quite remarkable. And some of the coaching purists out there will be tearing their hair out at the defence, or at times seemingly lack of defence being played. But two attack-laden sides, and they are delivering on the promise on paper. They are delivering on the grass. White already got one. Forced sideways. Davenport Peterson's taken a knock and gone down. Sinclair. Oh, lovely drop of the hips and a shimmy there, and then just showed too much to Shrivers. Jack Henry Sinclair there almost saying, don't forget about me in this star-studded attacking mix of players.
And we see some runs there. Jack Henry Sinclair, Gianni Bazookas, Caelan Gould when he's had the ball. So they're quite happy to run from deep as Wellington Olympic. He just, on that occasion, Sinclair just turned Del Hamel around like he wasn't there. I think we talked about it too earlier, Andrew, around Barnett and White. You know, we got Andy Bevan as well, who's more accustomed, as we talked about, to playing in a more advanced position. Del Hamel, unfortunately, has been the sole man there in the middle of the midfield for Miramar. So I'm sure Scott Hales will be looking to how can we. They need to balance it up a bit further. Whether it's, you know, Andy Bevan needs to be, you know, play a bit more conservatively at the moment. Although they are chasing the game, but they are being played through the midfield on the number of occasions so far.
It is the aforementioned Frenchman, Hugo Delhamel, with the set piece. Shrivers and Mason Smith targets towards the far post. Just 3 in the area for Miramar, now 4 as Midgley gets forward. And it's a handy ball. Mason Smith maybe didn't know enough about it, but there's a push there. So perhaps that's what created the space for Sam Mason Smith. Gully, a player that brings A-League experience to this South Central National League final. Davenport Peterson thought that was heading out over the sideline. His blush is saved by a teammate, Marta. Halakias, lovely. Gully, it's a rare run forward for Gully far in this match. And Caelan Gould almost making something out of nothing. McKeown, Gould, they're getting in each other's way. Gould looking for space on the right foot. And then it's a desperate lunge on the edge of the area. Is Caelan Gould hurt here? Some concern shown by the Miramar players pretty quickly. Bazookas forcing Zach Jones into picking the football up. And Caelan Gould is back up and okay. Is it just me, Harry, or is there a bit of Tim Payne about Zach Jones? He did spend some time with the Knicks.
Yep.
Don't know how he'd go matching that Movember effort from Tim Payne, which was a great effort, raising funds for a great cause.
Absolutely.
I think it's disappeared pretty quickly in December, though, didn't it?
Yeah, they had an unfortunate trot against Newcastle on Friday night, didn't they? Phoenix, or both Phoenix sides did, unfortunately.
Halakias through. Cross and cover was Shrivers, as you would expect from a good centre-back. Bevan hardly had a touch over the last 10 minutes or so. White asking Andy Bevan to have another touch. Bevan just rolls it there for Mason Smith. White, tough one to control. He did well. Wonderful ball from Symes. Flag might go up here. It wasn't needed. Very good save. Toby Hunt, brave. The feet of Midgley, I think it was, for Miramar on the back of really constructive, positive build-up play. Speaking of Movember, that's a bit more than a Movember effort, that, isn't it? That is pretty spectacular stuff from the Frenchman. There's a bit of work in that. Gully. Petrakis. Davenport Peterson. How's the vision? Was good. The execution not quite accurate enough. Midgley rides a couple of challenges, and Harry Choates looks for the outlet through Toby Hunt. Choates having to give up, I think, Harry, I'm not 100% sure, but I think more favoured on the right side of defence, but as soon as Gully's back in the side, Choate showing his versatility and playing on the left side of the back three. The Choate footballing dynasty will be messaging right now saying that any Choate is two-footed, so it won't matter.
He can play anywhere.
And still can. Well, this is quite the boring patch. We haven't had a goal for coming up 7 minutes. What's going on? Bevan for Barnett. Miramar trying to do something about that. It is the danger, you know, isn't it, Harry? A lot of football matches, 3-2 at half-time, final score 3-3.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bit of a lull, hasn't it been? We've been spoilt for goalmouth action in this first half.
Oh, I think there's still more to come. White pulls the trigger. Ollie White, it's snuck in. And Toby Hunt is so disappointed there. He feels he should do better. But Ollie White absolutely now takes the lead in the Golden Boot race.
Well, if you don't shoot, you don't score, don't you, Ollie White? And that's his, I think, his 7th goal of the season from about 25 yards. And I would have thought Toby Hunt, maybe he saw that one late coming through a group of players, but nonetheless, I'm sure he'd be disappointed he wasn't able to get down to that shot from Ollie White.
Well, my prayers were answered.
We were just talking about a lull in the game, weren't we?
We only had to go another 60 seconds to I should have been more patient. 6 goals in the opening 40 minutes. As I say, people will look at this from either sides of the coin. There'll be one camp saying, goodness me, where are the defenders? Whilst others will be saying, isn't this just wonderful, entertaining, attacking football? Gully. Goulds couldn't affect the pass under the challenge of Wood. Symes, who opened the goal scoring 31 minutes ago. And two players colliding there, but that's all the referee saw was Symes and Matrakis perhaps equally culpable. Marta. Wellington Olympic, they've just got to retain that self-belief, Harry. They've got to know that Davenport Peterson here certainly backs that up, because they'll create more chances. Oh, Bazookas, it's a heavy touch, isn't it? Good anticipation from Jones, but Gianni Bazookas, gosh, 9 times out of 10, he will end up with a shot on goal there.
Yeah, nice run from Davenport Peterson out of the middle of the park. Yeah. Heavy touch from Bazookas.
A handball decision given here, so this is an opportunity for Olympic to grab another goal back. They've tended to favour the in-swinger from the corners, but they've flipped that around here. McKeown will play the outswinger here. Chips it towards the near post. Goulds couldn't get the second touch. Driven in. It was a wonderful strike. I'm not sure if that might have been Matrakis, but couldn't get through the gaggle of players. And now Choke does well. Trying to launch a counter-offensive pretty quickly. Del Hormel. O'Brien, it was back to the keeper. Now Shriver's up towards halfway. Look at the space in midfield here for Bevan. Promising build-up play again from Miramar Rangers. Symes squares it. You could see the idea, just didn't quite have a teammate advancing from the edge of the area.
Yeah, I think Symes had caught Andy Bevan in the corner reside, but Bevan had just a couple of yards in front of him.
It's a cheap one given away there by Harry Choates. And referee Campbell Kirk Kawana Ward just wants a word here with Ollie White. So perhaps there's been a conversation ongoing between these two, and referee, as is often the case, just saying, I'll have the last word, Ollie. Scott Hales perhaps joining that conversation via the 4th official. White. Just had to step through some contact there, Ollie White. Play allowed to continue. Barnett, look how quick they are to get players there. Barnett, lovely ball to the near post, and Symes just tried the little flick, and results in a corner for Miramar. Crowd here at Jerry Collins Stadium just enjoying the entertainment being dished up by the two teams, obviously more so the Miramar fans. But Olympic, even with a 2-goal deficit, will feel they're right in the contest. Punched away effectively by Hunt and then by Davenport Peterson. It's the whistle has gone, and Midgley has taken a bit of a tumble. Sinclair was in close attendance for Olympic, and hello, Midgley just going into close quarters to have a word with Toby Hunt. So not sure if that had anything to do with Midgley. Let's have a look, Harry.
Yeah, can't see anything that Toby Hunt has done there deliberately.
Well, what he deliberately did was got the ball clear, didn't he? Certainly didn't appear to be any contact. There's a handshake at the end of it. But it is a local derby, and these two teams see a lot of each other through the Central League, and have found themselves in the final of this National League South Central Series. So, and all good local derbies, Harry, should have a bit of feeling. So referee's just going to play a drop ball here, but I think Sinclair is indicating that he'll just play this directly to Zach Jones, will he? Now, Del Omel says it's okay. We'll just maintain possession right here. Choke might have caught one there on top of the foot, but it's a very quick added minute of extra time here at the end of the first half. What a first half it's been, though. 6 goals, and Miramar Rangers, every time they went ahead, Olympic found a way to claw them back until they extended by a couple of goals. We've had goals from Symes, Mason Smith, a couple from Ollie White, and Bazookas and Choate for Olympic. But it is quite spectacular, the entertainment. 4-2 half-time. Miramar Rangers lead Wellington Olympic. Well, welcome back. Second half, not too far away from commencing. And a real challenge here for Scott Hales and Martin Pereira Garcia. For Olympic, they've got to continue to attack, take risks, look to score goals to get back into the match. And for Miramar Rangers, I'm not sure Scott Hales necessarily has the personnel to try and shut this down. He could look at changing shape and maybe going to a 4-4-2 and just shoring things up a little bit at the back, but they do have a 2-goal advantage, and why not just continue to attack and play with real confidence. Confirmation there of a change for Olympics. So Pereira Garcia has decided to change things up, and it is Jagger Scott Greenfield who replaces Lucas Halakias. So perhaps it's Olympic that blink first here. Harry Nata is alongside because Jagger Scott Greenfield typically plays at the back in a back four.
That's right, and you can only ascertain whether that's an injury to Halakias. As you said, Andrew, Scott Greenfield is more accustomed to a more defensive role, but look, Scott Hales will be wanting to, let's not change anything. If anything, let's keep pushing forward, and it's Olympic. They're going to have to take some risks and start pushing players forward, start more disciplined at the back. And there have been a couple of deflective goals too from Miramar, but nonetheless, all for Olympic to do in the second half.
Well, certainly they appeared to be lining up at the kickoff there with 4 at the back. So perhaps that was the first thing addressed by Pereira Garcia was that, okay, we need to score a couple, but we can't continue to concede. So perhaps it's a change in shape to address that. Sinclair, edge of the area. Sinclair, great shot, better save. Almost getting right back into the match within seconds of the second half getting underway. And Wood just staying composed there, staying on his feet against Bazookas. Gully. Square ball cut out by Bevan and then bundled over by Matrakis. The referee might have a word about that in a minute or two. Miramar continue with momentum. O'Brien. Midgley. O'Brien just not alert to the danger from behind Sinclair. That was an important intervention from Shrivers. And the way of Nathan Symes. So certainly looks to me as though, Harry, that Justin Gully might be playing as a centre-back side. Ben Marta, we see Harry Choate still in the left full-back position. Bevan, Sinclair with an important foot there for Olympic. Nice control from Bazookas, maintains a bit of momentum in the potential anyway for a counter-attack. And now Miramar just slow Olympic down. Bazookas, he's looked lively, hasn't he? Sinclair. Look at Bazookas with the run overlapping and Sinclair ignored him. Still on the edge of the area. Jack Henry, Sinclair now for Gould. Onto the right foot, Gould, and they win a corner. But could they have had something more?
We were kind of anticipating that one coming out on the left-hand side for that overlapping run. Jack Henry Sinclair chose to take that one inside.
Well, it was a real lung-busting run from Gianni Bazookas. Remember, he was involved very early on in that sequence of play, but he did appear to be open in that overlapping run, but Sinclair ignored his teammate on that occasion. White, a little too clever on the edge of the area. Back in by Gould, away by Shrivers. This time White just gets it clear. Davenport Peterson stayed on his feet. Sinclair. Little back heel for Davenport Peterson. Goes down in the area and the referee is pointing at the penalty spot. Well, we've had penalties galore this South Central campaign. Ben Marta scored twice from the spot in the regular season. Davenport Peterson just getting the right side of Midgley as far as the referee is concerned. And once contact was made, he had only one decision to give. Ben Marta has 4 goals this season, all from the penalty spot, 2 of them in that 4-4 draw.
And he traditionally goes to the keeper's left as well, Ben Marta. Let's see if he changes his strategy on this time round.
This, the lifeline that Olympic would have hoped, would have prayed for during the half-time break. Planned for as well. Can skipper execute the plan? Oh, he's hit the post and it's gone safely away from the Miramar goal. Ben Marta is fallible from the spot, and now the counter-attack. White, look at them streaming forward, Miramar. White has 2 or 3 to aim at, pulls it across just behind Symes. Bevan, still the pressure from Miramar, who rode their luck with a little help from the woodwork. And Ben Marta now will have time to dwell on this missed penalty because the counter-attack had them scrambling Olympic, and it was just behind Symes.
Did all the right things through there. Nathan Symes ran across the keeper. That ball just brought back behind him, but yeah, Ben Mata, missed your first penalty in a final, or for the season in a final. Usually calm and composed, and he was on his run up as well, but just his execution on that occasion, just open his hips up a little bit too far.
Hugo Del Ormel, the Frenchman, has eyes only for goal here. It's a long way out. And that's why he had eyes on goal. Oh, that is stunning. What a brilliant finish from the Frenchman. Ormel, the Frenchman.
Well, he couldn't hit this any better, Del Ormel. What a fantastic strike from about 30 yards, wasn't it? Dipped over and above the wall. No chance for Toby Hunt. Miramar extending their lead. How important was that miss now from Ben Mata? I know we've still got a few, probably about 30, 40 minutes still to go in this one, but already some key decisions, some key events already starting to unfold. Missed penalty. Fantastic free kick from Hamel up the other side for Miramar.
Well, I really didn't have time to ask the question, Harry, as to just how crucial might that penalty miss be. In that what I was about to say is only time will tell. We didn't have to wait very long. I mean, that is heartbreaking for Olympic. To miss the penalty is one thing, but essentially in the next moment to be conceding a fifth goal, that really could be a huge blow to their spirits and their chances in this final. And the goals are flowing. The adrenaline just needs to calm down momentarily here. There's a push on Andy Bevan. There's the handball. But Bevan, shall we say, making the most of the push. That will only serve to rile up the Olympic players even more.
Yeah, we're going to see Olympic now start to really throw caution to the wind. They have to push players forward. They have to start taking some risks. They're obviously going to leave them exposed at the back or within midfield. Are they going to start pushing players forward to try and make things happen? They're chasing the game. Miramar be quite happy now to manage the last few, the most of the second half now. I mean, will Scott Hales now take a more defensive approach, or, still continue to play the way they are when putting pressure on Olympic?
Yeah, it would be tempting, Harry, for Scott Hales to try and just shore things up a little bit here, and excuse the pun, but I'm just not sure that they have the cattle, they have the talent at the moment on the bench. They're thin on numbers, and when you're 5-2 up, just keep going.
They're absolutely right. I'm going to say they are. There are a couple of key injuries to key players. Sam Dewar, we talked about, red card last week against Selwyn. He's missing this afternoon, so it is going to be a case for Scott Hales to persist as long as he can with the 11 that are out there. Perhaps he does inject some fresh legs, in 10 or 15 minutes.
Here's another look at this wonder strike from Hugo Del Ormel.
It wasn't top corner as well, Andrew, wasn't it? It was sort of halfway. It actually was coming down.
So Martin Pereira Garcia recognising that there has to be a reaction. So Nathaniel Halamarian is out there, and so too Alex Pelezovic. And that's interesting. Gianni Bazoukas off, Harry.
Yeah, that is an interesting substitution. He has looked, for me, along with Kalen Gould, one of the biggest threat for Olympic. So you're having a discussion there. I won't call it a discussion, but probably questioning why he was brought off with Martin Pereira Garcia.
Well, that's the coach's prerogative to make the changes and try and impact the game from the bench, and I guess a player's prerogative to be grumpy when they're taken off. But I think our collective eyebrows are raised with Bazookas being the player to go.
Yeah, I think he has, but he has been one of the better players for Olympic this afternoon. Obviously scored a nice goal, had one disallowed in the first half.
So for the moment, just a rare moment of quiet around this grand final. Owen Barnett, who really just hasn't had to be too involved today, as Bevan just catches the ankles of Davenport Peterson. So Nathaniel Halamariam, of course, famous in that 4-4 draw, and helped drag the results out of fire, out of what looked like an impossible situation. Olympic, they were one down and a player down, but they finished up level at the end of the 90. Challenge here for Wellington Olympic, I think right now is very much a mental one. It's between the ears. I really do think the conceding the 5th goal so quickly after missing the penalty was just an absolute hammer blow. Bevans carried on through here, and free kick goes the way of Olympic, and things just temper starting to flare a little bit here. You just sense the frustration, can't you, Harry, from Olympic, and Miramar doing anything they can to further annoy their opponents.
Yeah, Andy Bevan's been involved in a couple of niggly challenges and confrontations this afternoon.
Ollie White looking for a hat-trick, of course. He had a hat-trick in this regular season encounter. Midgley. Symes. Oh, Davenport Peterson lashed out. There's a chance now, Midgley, and they've got a half dozen. Midgley, the fullback, gets in on the act, and Miramar Rangers are now starting to run away with this grand final. Too good.
Well, great run here from Scott, but you see him, this is your right back, making a screaming run into the box, and a nice ball too. Didn't have to break stride, and a lovely finish from Scott. I know we've got probably 35 odd minutes to go, but is this one now out of the reach?
Well, if there was a lesson to be learned from Dave Farrington Park earlier in this season, it's not over until it's over, but goodness me, at 6-2, they have dug themselves a heck of a hole here at Wellington Olympic. And I do say dug it themselves, because if the penalty is scored and they're suddenly back in the contest at 4-3, it's a different game. Halamarian gets ball first and collected by the Frenchman second. So Delormel avoids any further punishments.
Yeah, look, they just have to keep their noses clean now. Scott Hale's side, they've 4 goals to the good now. Just have to manage this game out, whether it's they just take the sting out, because you know Olympic, if they've got any metal left in them to keep pushing forward. It'll be up to Miramar's side to manage this game out now.
Halamariam and McKeown over the football. It's taken by the sub. Dangerous ball in, well dealt with by Shrivers. Handball on Ollie White, not given. Referee was right there. And that's a moment to perhaps further infuriate the Wellington Olympic supporters, if not the players out on the park. Now Gould is taken down. And yellow card for Liam Wood. The match becoming quite scrappy, and that you think will suit Miramar Rangers. Olympic want to find their best free-flowing attacking football, but with every interruption, with every free kick, it just stalls their momentum. McKeown this time sends it in, well punched clear by Zach Jones, and in fact he was under some real attention from Olympic, and illegal. Free kick goes the way of Miramar Rangers. So Miramar making a change, and it is the Portuguese veteran João Moreira who replaces one of the goal scorers in Nathan Symes. And job well done for Symes, and I think also job well done Scott Hales with his choice of Symes to start, Moreira off the bench.
Yeah, absolutely. Scored a nice goal. Nathan Symes was the first one for the afternoon for Miramar. And keeping João Moreira on the bench. 3 goals to his name this season, but probably not as flexible, I suppose, or not as mobile as Nathan Symes, and Scott Hales would want there early on to be defending quite high up the park and putting pressure on Olympic.
Pelezovic for Chotes, and now McKeown, another one of the subs, Hailemariam. Just going down a bit of a blind alley. McKeown swings that across with that cultured left foot of his, this time too close to Zach Jones. Eight goals in a grand final. No complaints for the neutrals, and certainly no complaints from the Miramar supporters. That one eluding Gould, and then Wood, who recovered quickest, and then he's asked to chase by his keeper up to the task. Whatever the circumstance, whatever the backdrop to a final, be it a national final or in this case a South Central series, footballers love to win trophies, love to get winners' medals, and this will mean a great deal to the Miramar Rangers players if indeed they go on to win this from 6-2 up. Bevan. Here is Moreira. White. Searching for the hat-trick. Gets it back from Moreira. He might have it here, Ollie White. He pulls it wide. Superbly set up. And arguably, that was an easier finish than his earlier goal.
Yeah, not one for the highlights reel for Ollie White. Dragging that one. But nice interchange of play with Moreira, Barnett on the left-hand side as well.
Bevan sends it wide again towards one of the goal scorers. What a goal it was. And that's off the toe of Hugo Delhamel. Tell you what, you've got to be pretty handy to get to the best goal of a game when you're playing for Miramar Rangers. There's often 3 or 4 candidates.
Yeah, it was a super free kick, wasn't it? Exquisite free kick.
I'm starting to hear the frustration being voiced by the Olympic supporters. And I'm sure that's a feeling that is mirrored in the players out on the pitch. Gould. It's not for the lack of trying. Caelan Gould has just not gone his way. Pinches the ball back. He won't stop fighting, won't stop trying. He's taken out late and the whistle goes a little later. But just looking to see if there's an advantage. Caelan Gould says, well, how about further punishment? But, referee Campbell Kirk Kawana Wars maintained good control. That wasn't good control by Olympic. Looking to take the free kick quickly, and in the end it's a complete waste. Lezovic. Interchange between 2 of the Olympic substitutes now. McKeown. Switching one side, then the other. Gully for Sinclair. Steps on the ball. And Bell Amel with the slow tumble to the turf. And a lull in proceedings is a lull very much in favour of Miramar Rangers.
Yeah, they won't be in a rush or in a hurry to take this one. So Jones milk any time they can to slow things down. Take their time, and it's up to Olympic. You know, I know we're talking just over 20 minutes to go now, but 4 goals down, they're going to have to, if they really want to get something out of this game, really have to start pushing players forward and taking some risks. The next goal, if they do score again, is going to be crucial. They've got the wherewithal and the mental capacity to keep pushing forward, and not to give up.
And they're not. Sinclair with a switch of play for Gould has McKeown on his left, and not for the first time in the second half. Olympic ignoring an overlapping runner down the left wing side. Davenport Peterson with a late challenge, and I was expecting the whistle as soon as Mason Smith was not able to collect that through ball. And Davenport Peterson, who was sent off in the regular season encounter between these two, he gets a booking for this sliding challenge, just catching Bevan late. As crazy as it sounds though, Harry, with 20 minutes to play, I'm not counting Olympic. It's just been one of those seasons, and these two teams, you just don't know.
I mean, we talked about it in the first half. We talked about a lull for 3 or 4 minutes, and bang, there was a goal. So, you know, although the advantage is clearly with Miramar, it's what are Olympic willing to do now to get their noses into a position, or get themselves into a position where they can start turning, you know, Shrivers, start turning O'Brien. You know, Caelan Gould has been, you know, a couple of touches, just not got his way just recently.
Moriera just getting those 35-year-old legs of his to turn over pretty quickly, but the offside flag is against him. Well, Martin Pereira Garcia did talk about it in the pre-match that they've just tended to tail off a little bit this campaign, feeling that perhaps their form of late has not been as good as it was in the Central League. And we know that they rested a few players last week, but they were well beaten by Kashmir 5-1, and here they are 6-2 down in the grand final. That they just appear to have run out of legs at the business end of the season.
Yeah, it's a good point you make too, Andrew, that conceding those goals last week. They did rest some players. Yes, they did it. Garcia did have to reshuffle a number of players. They've been clearly outplayed this afternoon so far.
Shrivers, White, can Miramar capitalise on Olympics' need, Olympics' desire to push players forward? Sinclair getting around the back, but Taylor Shrivers has been very solid at the heart of the Miramar defence. Pelazovic. Gully. Jack Henry, Sinclair. Interchange of passes here until the attempted flick over the top is without success. João Moreira has taken an eternity to react, it seems, to what he thought was illegal contact. Davenport Peterson wriggling, trying to find room, and it's just onto the roof of the net. It was an anxious look for a moment there from Zach Jones. It's been good as tall Davenport Peterson toiling away in that midfield. Almost a contact this week and went down with injury next week. What have Olympic got? They've still got time. They've still got time. Gould trying to flick that on at the near post. That should be a run here for Olympic, and it is. Again, the in-swinger from the Irishman. Miramar's second half dominance has just quietened the crowd, it seems, from both sides of the equation. The Miramar fans sitting content, the Olympic fans a little disconsolate. Midgley had to intervene. I think has done so at the expense only of a throw. Mata, how vital in the outcome of this match, that missed penalty. Sinclair, great ball played in, just needed a little flick with a little more power. Zach Jones was rather relieved to see that whilst this had direction, Harry didn't have the impetus.
It was a great run too from toward Davenport Peterson. He's your holding midfielder making runs in the box. So I think he's had a decent game for Olympic so far in the middle of the park. He's been niggly. He's got tackles in. He's got forward, like you've seen on that occasion as well. He's broken play up.
Moreira with a little cameo for the Portuguese striker. Sold a little short there by Owen Barnett, who the 19th had one of his quieter performances of the season, but in a 6-2 scoreline, he's not had to have an impact. Others have stepped up around him. Not that it's been for a lack of trying from Barnett. He's certainly looking to have an influence in that attacking third, as he has done through most of the season. And one of the goal scorers, in fact, the most recent goal scorer. So Scott Midgley is replaced by Oliver Stanish. And in a side stacked full of attacking talent, perhaps some of the performances of Midgley have just gone under the radar a little bit, Harry. At fullback, he loves to get forward, rewarded today with a goal.
Look, I think he's been one of the key players this afternoon for Miramar, because he's kept Rory McEwen quite quiet. And we know McEwen loves to push forward. He's got a fantastic left foot. But the credit to Midgley, he's got forward and he's made McEwen defend for large parts of this game.
White still sitting on a possible hat-trick. And forward, but couldn't maintain control. Hat-trick in a grand final, that would be a little byline to the headline. That would be Miramar's victory. Gould just shepherded wide by Wood. Here is Stanish playing in the left fullback position, blocked by O'Brien. And now Oliver Stanish can finish the defending.
Yeah, he's in the box on that occasion, Olympic. They had good ball there from Stanish on the right-hand side, but there's only two players in the box for him.
Haile Mariam. Down to the byline, across goes Wood and affects the challenge. Well, certainly as far as the history of these two clubs is concerned, Miramar Rangers might feel that they can just boast the better record over the years, more experience at the top level. Often they were the National League side and Wellington Olympic were the handy League side. So that is a punch clear by Jones to Pelezovic on the edge of the area. Sinclair turns, tries to wriggle free. Liam Wood's done really well there. Good composure and eyes only for the ball, the Miramar defender. Not sure, Harry, how much history and previous records play in a match like this, but just taken that historic advantage, if you like, into this final. They've just been too good on the day. Mason Smith with the booking.
Yeah, look, and it's an impact and damage to the pride too for these players. 6-2 scoreline at the moment. You know, with still a few minutes plus injury time to play, still 10-12 minutes to go. So they certainly had the time to try and get themselves back into it. We saw the penalty miss too from Biamata earlier on in the second half.
On the sting, absolutely went out of Olympic, if not when that penalty struck the upright, but certainly when Del Homel scored with a free kick just moments after. Fans asking for a little more urgency, but Gould tries to bring it. But they're aware of the danger of the Englishman. Bevan tracking back nicely. Moriera, keepers come out a long way. Moriera, can he get a piece on this? No, Mata was there. And Choke was back on the goal line to cover anything that might have been headed in his direction. Davenport, Peterson, Bevan still full of running, the 29-year-old. Gould almost summing up Olympics second half, really. Just forced into a speculative effort, really. And you can see the frustration all over the face and the body language of Caelan Gould. It's a little bit like turning up at the big party when the borders finally opened and the traffic lights went to the right colour, and getting to the door, Harry, and finding you've left your vaccination pass at home. They just haven't quite had it on the big day, have they?
No, look, they've clearly had, both teams have had a good season, not just in the Southern Central Series, but the Central League together before COVID hit. These are the two of the better sides in the country at this sort of level. I know we still see the northern clubs compete at this competition, but clearly the two best sides in this series so far.
Wood with a bullet of a throw. And this has often been the case for McKeown. He's had possession, if not own half, then not far over halfway. He's just not been able to have an impact on attack as often as he would like. Well-earned rest for many of these players, as Mason Smith still has the energy for another gallop down that left wing side. Well marshalled by Justin Gully, and well marshalled, in fact, that Olympic have the goal kick. But a number of these players will have played in the most recent edition of the now defunct Summer National League, then into a winter campaign, now into the National League that is club-based following the winter competition. So I'm sure a number of these players will be looking forward to a rest for a week or two. Who knows, Harry? Some of these players, in part thanks to the OFC, they might be required in March.
Absolutely.
In the Middle East.
Yeah, a couple of players. Yeah, a number of players have played youth, international football, obviously for New Zealand. So yeah, absolutely. With that decision, those games falling outside the FIFA window, leaves Danny Hay and co certainly with a tricky situation to try and navigate through. So you're quite right. Perhaps there is an opportunity potentially for some of these players we've seen this afternoon to be called upon for those qualifiers in March. Who knows?
Shrivers, who can perhaps now stop dreaming of lifting the trophy as the skipper and start planning on his victory speech. There's a real variety of players at different levels as well. Ollie White is one that might well be on the radar, if not now, in years to come for full New Zealand selection. He's played at age group level. But then you think of the likes of a Justin Gully. If you needed a player with some experience, played at the top level, been a pro, if he was called upon to do a job in the Oceania qualifiers, he'd be up to the task.
You could probably throw half a dozen players, across these two teams that potentially, given the chance, given the circumstances, who knows? You talked about, playing a level of football throughout the last sort of 12 months or so. Do you keep yourself ticking over in the off-season, through the Christmas period, just in case? You never know. You never know.
Here's White still looking for the hat-trick. Mason Smith rolling it for Moriera into the area. Moriera, the Portuguese, will have a goal-scoring cameo. And it is 7th heaven for Miramar Rangers. Can you believe it? 7-2 in a grand final.
Well, Moriera does get his 4th goal of the season, coming off the bench in the second half. It was a nice finish. Went round Toby Hunt for a simple finish in the end for the Portuguese.
Well, we have it on very good authority that he wasn't happy to be left out of the starting lineup. And that's great. You wouldn't want a player to be happy. You'd want them to have that drive and that hunger. And he still has it at 35 years of age. But he's certainly proven, in fact, by scoring the goal, he's almost made the decision of his coach the right one. White for Moriera. Can White get on the end of a return pass, perhaps? And now the party tricks are coming out. But by scoring off the bench, and albeit the match was well under control when he got out there. Lovely from White for Bevan. And Ollie White takes a tumble, a clash with Sinclair off the ball. Barnett. And couldn't keep it in play. So Scott Hales taking the opportunity to perhaps empty the bench here, and Liam Wood departs. So too Owen Barnett, to replace by 13 Max Falconer. And wearing forwards James Marsh, and it's a happy embrace. High fives all around for Liam Wood. National League South Central Series title to add to these players' respective CVs. Halamariam for Palazovic. Sinclair have really just run out of ideas. Miramar have just been too good in the second half. The penalty miss aside, Miramar have just been a step ahead.
No, they have, through the 90 minutes, or soon to be 90 minutes, I think Miramar have clearly been the more dominant side. Yes, the score sheet does tell you that as well, but the likes of their key players, so Killian Gould has really been he's drifted in and out. He hasn't really had the impact that he would have liked, or that we've seen from him throughout the course of the season. McEwen's been kept quiet by Midgley on this right-hand side. Tor Devonport Peterson's worked hard. He's grafted away in the middle of the park, got himself forward in good positions, but clearly haven't created enough clear-cut chances. Wellington Olympic.
Really, it is almost in the hands of the engraver now, as Sinclair looks to find some what would be scant consolation for Olympic. And he's effectively on the edge of the area, and no time to be added on. At the end of the 90, it is a scoreline to delight Miramar Rangers fans. This club out of Wellington with such a storied history adds another chapter. That is right. Do not blink, do not adjust your set. In a grand final, Miramar Rangers 7, Wellington Olympic 2.
please join us for a short presentation.
Well, the Olympic fans, Harry, will be bitterly disappointed, but that shouldn't take away from what has been a very good winter campaign for a very proud club, and they will come back all the stronger and all the better for this experience next season.
Look, it was a disappointing performance from Olympic, but more so I think those supporters and players themselves, given that looking at the scoreline there, 7-2, that's an absolute mauling from Miramar. And considering these two teams have been so evenly matched throughout the course of the season, that I'm sure the fans and supporters would be, not be happy with that scoreline. If I was a player there, I'd be bitterly disappointed, particularly in the final as well.
Quite incredible. In their two most recent encounters, they've combined for 17 goals. And the lion's share of those goals going the way of Miramar, courtesy of the 7 scored today. They'll look back on quite a few moments, Olympic. They'll think of the Bazookas goal that was disallowed. They had other chances in the first half. They didn't score the goals on the back of a 20 or 25 minute period of dominance. And suddenly Miramar snuck ahead, didn't they, and had that 4-2 lead at half-time.
That penalty missed by Ben Mata, then Del Hamol, the free kick, basically a few minutes, or a few seconds up really after that chance.
So we will stay for the presentations. There's Zeb Harris and George Ackers. That'll be a little consolation for those two with the serious injuries. In particular, George was the one that we called that horrific leg break in the 4-4 draw with Wellington Olympic. Both players heading over on crutches to be a part of the celebrations. Smiles on the faces of the Miramar players, and they greet their injured teammates with some delight. Match played on neutral ground here at Jerry Collins Park here in Porirua. And let's hear the thoughts of the Golden Boot winner. 2 goals today, part of the South Central Series championship winning side, Ollie White.
That's it. Well, Ollie, a couple of goals today. Must have been an enjoyable game to play in.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It almost started off a bit like that 4-4 where both teams were scoring freely, but yeah, we ended up putting more away and staying a bit more solid in the second half towards the end. So yeah, it's very enjoyable to play in.
You played defensive midfield today. How did you find that? Because normally you play out probably a bit wider.
Yeah, it was all good. I had to do a job for the team. Obviously, our captain got sent off last week.
Go and enjoy the celebration.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.
Audio, mate. Check one. Ben.
Now down to Fred de Jong, who has Ben Mata.
You either win a final, you lose a final. I think they were good today. We probably went up to where we needed to be. And congrats to Miramar. I think they deserved it today. We had a really good season, and we talked about no matter what happened in this game, it wasn't going to define us, and we're going to come back stronger, and that's what we set out to do.
It was end-to-end first half, a lot of goals going in. How was that to play?
Not that fun considering I play at the back. I think if we do our job a little bit better, maybe we give ourselves a better shot at winning this game. But hindsight's always 20/20. We just have to look back and where we can better and come into pre-season with the same hunger that we had this year. That's why we're a successful team, and we'll continue to build on that.
Had a good series though overall, the team.
Yeah, I mean, we probably didn't perform as well as we wanted, but it was pretty tough circumstances, whether or not this was going ahead, you know, what the series was actually for. But I think it was a testament to our character. We came in, we continued to work hard, and unfortunately we fell just short.
Oh, well, disappointing commiserations, mate.
Yeah, appreciate it. We'll come back next year.
Very well-spoken young man, 23 years of age, Ben Marta, former New Zealand under-17 representative. And composed in defeat as the Miramar Rangers players assemble. The champagne is ready for popping and the trophy is ready for delivering.
On behalf of New Zealand football, we've just got Scott Moran to present the trophy to Miramar Rangers.
And we will stay for this moment of joy and celebration for Miramar Rangers. Hand it over to Taylor Shrivers and the champagne flows. Miramar Rangers are your National League South Central Series winners for 2021.